always gratifying to see a lot of energy and euphoria around any new model launch, and especially when you think about it coming from a relatively newer or unknown brand in the Indian market. That's exactly what's happened, and we're not surprised, of course, because I'm talking about the Jeep Compass. So much anticipation for so many months. It's held up okay because all of that has resulted in a bit of a blockbuster debut. And to talk about that, we are coming to you from inside a Jeep showroom. So all of these people, all of this action, you better believe it, it's going to be around here in these showrooms for some time. Joining me to speak about it is Kevin Flynn, who can't stop smiling.
No, actually, I can't. I must admit, when I arrived here to meet with you and just walking in and just getting a feel of the buzz, and every desk was full, every car was being looked at. Look, we've worked hard to get to this point.
It's great to see this energy, though, and you know we've also had so much of let's say anticipation around it, because a lot of us have started talking about it from a product perspective, really. But now you sort of move to step 2, because you've already talked about product. People now know largely, I would say, that you know what to expect. But how difficult is it now to make sure that you deliver on the promise, as it were? Yeah,
look, we put a lot of work into that, and we understood it's one thing to have a great product, but that product has got to be backed up by the environment, and also has got to be backed up by heaps of customer care and confidence, and we have done a lot of work on that. I mean, across the country, what we're sitting in now is what we call one of our destination stores. We've got 10 of these across the country.
The cynical question I have to ask you, in the past, not with Jeep or FCA, but with any big, let's say, hit product, which gets such a raucous, welcome to the market, that we've seen dealers sometimes erring on the side of, either you could call it arrogance, or you could call it not really being able to handle that kind of onslaught that comes to them. How much of that training has focused on that?
Yeah, it has, and it was on the manpower and the recruitment of the manpower, because effectively at the beginning of this year, I think we had something in the region of 50 dedicated Jeep sales team, which were of course focusing on the CVU product at that time, and we knew to go live now we needed something like 550, and then there's a further development from there. We've achieved that, and part and parcel of the recruitment was then the training, getting people up to speed with the product, but getting more up to speed with, well, what are going to be customer expectations of Jeep as a brand? How do we deliver the promise of what Jeep is?
You announced 5,000 bookings at the time
yes.
of your press launch the other day. I reckon for every one of those 5,000, there was probably 2 who were still waiting for that price announcement before they jumped in and I'm sure they have now. How are you going to handle it, the numbers?
So we've looked at that, and one of the key things that I've challenged the dealers with is there's got to be a level of discipline to make sure that as we start the deliveries, there is an appropriate level of resource and focus on the deliveries to make sure that handover is memorable, is informative, and gives the customers everything that they need in terms of becoming the owner of that vehicle. Secondly, at the same time as that's going on, clearly we're getting a lot of people coming into the dealerships wanting the test drives. So we've got to make sure that the right levels of resource are being applied to those core areas to make sure that we can continue to take the bookings, but at the same time we can deliver a super start to their ownership experience. Discipline is going to be the key to it.
I mean, you have one advantage in a sense that traditionally the appetite for riding out long waiting periods has been higher with SUVs in general. We've seen that in the market. So that's, let's say, an advantage. But having said that, how much pressure does this put on production for you? Because you also have an export target.
Look, from a capacity point of view, we're okay. Because in all fairness, Ranjangaon has not been maximised. So we've got plenty of scope there. The key thing is obviously we celebrated start of production beginning of July. And what then happens is you get what you call ramp up. So, we're closely monitoring quality. That is fundamentally 100% number one goal. We will not release any cars unless they absolutely meet the exacting standards that we've set ourselves. So production's been going very, very well, and we've been running for a while and starting to build up our launch stock. And now we're seeing the ramp up go up. So as long as we keep to the profile that we trajectory we set, I think we will be fine. But quality is #1, and we will maintain that standard.
I mean, not that I'm surprised to hear you say that, but it's still nice to hear you say that. When you say ramp up, do you see that being an accelerated ramp up now? I mean, I know maybe it's too early to ask you this 2 days in, but just going by the kind of numbers we are starting to see at dealerships, do you think you need to maybe revisit how quickly you ramp up?
I think there's two things. I think look, we will only be able to push manufacturing as far as manufacturing are comfortable to be pushed. We all want, yeah, exactly, because as I say, this is a global car and is built to exacting global standards, so we're not going to compromise on that. And one of the things I said on Monday, this isn't a car for India. This is a global car that we make in India. We've managed to achieve a 65% local content at time of launch, and we're working on a number of projects at the moment, so we will see that actually raise. We actually started on Monday, the first export car went down the production line as well. So our exports start in the fourth quarter. So we're managing a number of dynamics. The other thing is as well, you sort of set yourself out what you think the customers are going to want in terms of the specification. Is it going to be the 7-speed automatic? Is it going to be the diesel 2-wheel drive, the 4-wheel drive, and so forth? And we thought that we got that okay. It's looking reasonably okay, but definitely we're going to have to be upping our level of 7-speed automatic. So we're already working on that, and then getting the colour combination right as well. So you can never guarantee hitting it 100% on day one, but I think we've got enough flexibility to manoeuvre it over the coming months. But it's super encouraging. I mean, it's exciting actually.
What does this mean for your operation within Jeep's global setup, in the sense that, yes, of course, you've already said all right-hand drive markets that get this car,
yeah,
it's going from here. I assume that, as these cars start going into those markets, once again, it'll sort of start to pick up, as people see the car, drive it,
sure,
etc. So that's, where your export number itself could increase. But what does it mean going forward? I mean, could you be doing other models from here as well? Or is that too soon?
Yeah, look, we're focusing 100% on Compass right now. We want to make sure we don't trip up and scratch our knees. We really want to make sure that all the expectation out there is met and exceeded, because that in itself is going to create fantastic word of mouth, which in itself is going to create demand and drive forward. So of course every car company has got a long range plan, and we too have got a long range plan, and this car is critical to unlocking those aspirations that we have for our manufacturing here and what we do here. So this is, I've said in a couple of these exchanges, this is like the first chapter in a new book, but we need to really make sure that first chapter is absolutely solid, absolutely delivered before we start talking about or even opening up those other opportunities.
Coming back to the product itself, yes, we've had discussions with you, with your global counterparts about what this product needed to be, what are the boxes you needed to tick, and from a global context, not just an Indian context. Now that you're seeing people coming in, the real buyer coming in and touching the car and test driving it, etc., what are your dealers telling you, the initial reactions?
The initial reactions are phenomenal.
I saw pictures of the crowds at,
I know.
At the
I mean, I was getting pictures yesterday coming through from the dealerships. We actually had one dealership in Delhi where the traffic police had to come down twice to try and regulate. I mean, look, it's what we wanted. But it's new for me. I'm 2.5 years into being in India, and this is the first new product that I've launched as such. And to do that press announcement and price announcement on Monday, and then the very next day we've got dealerships full, is very special. It's quite humbling actually. It's very humbling, and it just makes you realise that all of that hard work, all of the effort the team has put in, the hours we spent on quality, the hours we spent driving the car, testing the car, evaluating the car, and then we get it here and it's being met with enthusiasm. I think it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And it's what we all set out to do. You know, everybody sets out to make a great car, let's be honest about it. But when you look at it and feel it and touch it and look at the fit and finish and the substance, I always say, look at this, just get a sense of the substance of the car. That's what makes it special. This isn't, anybody can make an SUV, but not everybody can make a Jeep. And right from the word go, this project has always been about the essence and the DNA of this car and the capabilities of this car. And now it's in the showroom and people are ordering it, and now we're on, the first 1,000 cars have left the yard on transporters. It's a very, very special moment, and as I say, for myself and the team, it's one that we're humbled by.